Okay, welcome back to the CRTVt podcast with me,
Is this is
Rodin.
this a video podcast?
Yeah, there is video, there is a little UI with my character and then your little character, and then on top we have like the live screen, and then on the screen below we have like a slideshow of all of your art. So,
So this video of me that I'm recording is going to be seen.
unless you don't want to, I can just remove.
Oh no, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It wasn't how handsome I look right now. I was going to say I have like a massive jawline and chiseled abs and things, but sadly
Okay.
there is video, so you I can't get away with anything. Um, yeah. Well, okay.
All
Okay,
right,
so
man.
I've been look at this muscle. Look at that.
Right, you've been working out? Okay.
Yeah, I've been I've been going to the climbing gym. I've been climbing every couple of weeks. It's the first time in my life I've ever worked out at all.
Wait,
Like,
really?
'cause, yeah, first time in my life. Like, because yeah, I hated PE at school. Because I had asthma and I had
No, I have
really
asthma too. I
yeah. So
understand.
so I just hated any kind of physical education and activity. And now look at this baby.
Wow.
Ugh.
Here's the thing. You're like the fifth artist who's gotten into climbing that I know. I don't know. There's
I
some crossover, some Venn diagram type stuff going on.
No, it's true. I think it's because it's not competitive and it's the thing that you do by yourself. And, it's the thing that you do with your hands as well. And the same kind of, yeah, I think we just like gravitate towards climbing for the same reason we gravitated towards art, like it's a solitary occupation. I do go with a friend of mine, so it's not quite, it's kind of a team sport when we do it, but yeah, I think a lot of artists just don't kind of like to be on display, and sport kind of puts you on display. Especially team sport, and yeah, I think climbing is more of a solitary pursuit, and it's more akin to the life of the artist. And
Yeah, yeah.
also, and Spider-Man is a climber, obviously. Like there's that angle.
Yeah, like Steve Ditko always wanted us to. It was
Yeah,
that's what he always wanted us to be doing, to be wall climbing.
this this was his plan all along. This is what he was trying to do, and finally, it's paying off in the year 2026.
Libertarian wall climbers, that's what he wanted.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. How long
Okay.
is this interview, by the way?
Uh, let's see, maybe an hour.
An
Um,
hour.
I have a bunch of questions, but maybe
Okay,
they'll have short answers. So
maybe. Yeah.
okay, so first of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. Yeah. Well, I just showed you. I can show you again.
Yeah,
Whoa!
yeah, exactly. So
No,
my
I'm
first,
good. Yeah.
so there's like old foggy ideas I have of your work online that might be
Yeah.
wrong. So if I'm saying
Hmm.
something that's completely incorrect, just tell me, okay? Um,
Yes.
okay, so my first question here is like, what was your progress like? Because I remember seeing some, yeah, you had the YouTube channel, and I remember seeing some animations in there, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like 3D animations, right? Am I not messing this up?
No, that's absolutely right. Yeah, I was an animator. I studied animation for 5 years. Um,
Five
I,
years.
I always wanted to get into animation, like as a high school student. Like I found out that Jeff Smith was an animator before he was a comic book artist, and I really liked Jeff Smith at the time. Like I was really captivated by Bone and all of that. And you know, I knew that I wasn't going to get away with just not going to university. It was like back when university was affordable,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and now it's like everything costs 10 times as much, but back then it was like firstly the government paid your tuition fees, and secondly your tuition fees were not that much in the scheme of things, and so I studied film and animation because there was no like comics courses at the time, and animation kind of looked like a career,
Oh,
and
yeah,
and I
yeah.
was and I was really like just completely in love with 1940s Disney animation. Like I wasn't really interested in the content of Disney as a storyteller, but I thought he was a genius storyteller, and even though like for example, like in the real Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, like they make the Wicked Queen wear red hot shoes till she drops down dead, and they're all very kind of morally ambiguous and strange old folk tales from Europe, and Disney just kind of put them through a meat mincer and turned them into kind of Christian nationalist sort of propaganda,
What?
and which has no interest to I have no interest in that, but I did recognize his genius and as a storyteller, and I was truly captivated by that. And of course, like when I got to university, I discovered Miyazaki and all of that. So like, but before that, Katsuhiro Otomo was a huge influence on me too. Like I loved what animation looked like a path I could take.
Yeah, it's interesting you
But
mentioned
but
Otomo because he was also like a double entendre of animation and comics, and in the end, it shows
mhm.
comics. Um,
Yeah, yeah, precisely. Yeah, he's a legend in two games. Like, yeah, precisely, like Michael Jordan. but yeah, I just discovered like I I have like so many stories I want to tell and so much experimentation I want to do, and like the type of storytelling you can do as an independent in animation is very kind of compressed and very like if you're like a freelance independent animator, like doing like 1 minute or like 10 minutes a year of animation is like an epic for a
yeah.
freelance animator. Like, and I didn't want to, but I want to tell like big kind of sprawling stories that have ambition and scope, and and I can do that in comics. I can't really do that as a freelancer in animation.
Nowadays, there's a lot of
So
pilots going on, but I see your point. It's far more economical to do it in comic
well,
format.
think about all those pilots. Like it's like a lot of people doing them, and
Yeah,
only one person gets to be the director, and everyone else has to be, kind of somewhere down that chain. Like only very
absolutely.
lucky people get to be the one like calling the shots. And they have to have like tremendous organizational skills, and they sort of have to have the mind of a producer as well as an artist, and I'm not quite sure I have that. Like I can just about manage myself. I don't think I could manage whole teams of people. So it wasn't really an option for me. I don't think. I mean, maybe one day in the future, but
We had a
doesn't seem
bunch
like it.
of piloters on this show before, but it's like you said, it's always a team effort. Um,
Absolutely, yeah,
so you went through animation, you ended up on comics, and
that's
one
right.
thing that
Yeah,
I thought was very interesting is how your style has changed throughout the years, and I think that can
yeah.
go right into the newest stuff you've been doing, 1983 Towards Tomorrow. What can people expect from that?
Well, actually, 1983 Towards Tomorrow is a compilation book. It's like a of all the stuff I did between 2008 and 2013. So it's not actually
Oh,
it's not really the newest stuff.
okay.
It's kind of it's a compilation of stuff from like my first 5 years in working in comics, basically. So, but what people can expect from it is like it's all the stuff I drew when I moved to South Korea. Like I was a school teacher out there, and I was
Oh,
just kind
that's
of
interesting.
yeah, I was an English teacher, and I was just kind of finding my voice as an artist. And I think I just discovered like Akira Toriyama, and it was the first time I was away from home. Like I lived away for university, and I lived in London, like working as an animator. But like all of that was like I was sleeping on someone's couch, or I was sleeping in one of my parents' spare rooms or something, like or at university. Like I think like I still never really felt as independent as I was in South Korea, where I kind of had a job. I had my circle of friends. I had we just go out drinking every night or go to restaurants, and we and it was like we were all kind of just discovering the world of the island of Jeju Island. Like we just all of us were all about like 25, and we're all just discovering this little world at the same time. And I was just incredibly inspired at that time. And every spare moment I got, I was drawing like little diaries and artwork and everything I could possibly do. And
Yeah.
I also kind of hopped over to Japan at that time, and I met like a bunch of people that I only really knew online, and I kind of stayed with them.
In Japan?
And yeah, in Japan, yeah,
Wow.
um, yeah. So yeah, in Japan, like I met this guy who worked for Grasshopper Manufacture. Like you know who that
I
is?
know Grasshopper, that's video games, right?
Yeah, it's Suda 51,
Suda
right? Yeah.
51. Yeah.
Yeah, and he told me he worked for Suda 51, and he was pitching like a remake of Elevator Action, which is this arcade game that I really liked. And so
Oh, interesting.
I did all these designs for this Elevator Action remake, and apparently they got sent to Taito. I think is the it's either Taito or Namco who owns that property. But we so like that's one of the things that's in this art book is like all this work that we did for this reboot of this arcade game that never quite came off. Um, but yeah, like there's in this book, you're just going to see me over the course of 5 years, just kind of finding my identity as an artist and going all around the world, staying in like 5 different countries. I'm in New York, I'm in Scotland, I'm in South
Jesus.
Korea, and I visit Japan, and everywhere I go, like a kind of like a Katamari ball, I pick up all these influences, and yeah, it's and like as for the style changing, like it's yeah, you'll see me just trying out lots of different things. Like sometimes I'm kind of doing this kind of pseudo naive style where I'm like kind of inspired by the way the school children that I taught drew. Like I'm drawing kind of little animals and things,
Hmm.
and and uh, and then other times I'm trying my level best to draw exactly like Katsuhiro Otomo. You know, just like who still for me is like the gold standard of what I think like a perfect artist is. You know, so.
Yeah, it's almost
Um,
like unreachable.
it is unreachable because he's good at everything.
Yeah.
He's good at like costume design, like he's good at like vehicle design and weapons and the framing and pacing and the dialogue, and it's like everything he does is so like vital and compelling and beautifully produced. Like and it is unreachable. But I've kind of studied his life, and you know I found out that the most productive years he had, right, were directly after his children were born, right?
Oh,
And
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, which kind of blew my mind. Like he produced like hundreds of pages for all these different magazines. And this is before Akira, even before the movie. It was like the year his son was born. And and I was like that. Well, that's interesting. And like I was thinking, like maybe the year that my children are born, I can have a similarly productive year. And I
Oh,
found out
motivation.
no, doesn't work. Because we have to like you know most of my time is spent like looking after my children, whereas I guarantee that Katsuhiro Otomo didn't see that kid like the first 2 years he was alive. Like I think they have a very different workplace culture in Japan. Like I think it's just expected that the guy is not going to help out like with that baby, and but he's out bringing home the bacon. Like he knows that the family needs money, so he's out like trying to make as much money as he can. And I think they have you know there's an understanding there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I think that, you know that phrase like behind every great man is a great woman. Like I think you could extend that phrase. I think behind every great man is a neglected child, right? And
Okay. I see.
yeah, and I think if you look at Katsuhiro Otomo, if you look at Hayao Miyazaki, like they, like Miyazaki especially just doesn't have like a good relationship with his son. Like
Poor
Frank Zappa,
Gojo.
who's like a yeah, Frank Zappa, who's a workaholic, like his he barely knew his daughter at all. It was like she had to shove a letter under his door saying, "Hi, I live in your house. My name is Moon. You made me." You know, like
Well,
he
yeah.
and I think like I don't want to be that kind of dad. Like I don't want to be like a just this aloof guy who's always working. Like I want to have a proper relationship with my kids. So like so I'm kind of working a lot less. I'm working as much as I can, but like I'm working a lot less because I want to help raise them and I want to be in their lives,
Hmm.
you know. But which ties back to the book. Like that's why I'm putting together a book of all my work from 2008 to 2013 because it's like, well, I can't currently make these massively ambitious comics projects. Like what I have to do is just kind of compile old things that I've done and put them together and let people buy those instead. I mean, luckily, like I have just tons and tons of old work that has never been published, so I can. This is kind of having children has kind of been an opportunity to sort of go back over that stuff and put it all together for people. Um, but yeah, that's a much bigger answer to the
Yeah,
question that you actually
you
asked.
ended
But
you ended up finding your voice though. Probably
yeah,
took a lot, but I
hmm,
really feel like you right now in my head you're like the king of short form storytelling in comics.
well,
Um,
that's nice.
that's like I really like these slim comics you make, and how we can tell
Ah, thank
so
you.
much in so little time. Like right now, I'm making a very short form comic too, and trying to ham as
Ah,
much stuff in it as well. And I
I would
wanted to.
I would say
Hmm.
George is he's a guy who tells short form comic books and if you look at his book Very Casual, which is out on Koyama Press, like he is an incredible short form storyteller, but also like Katsuhiro Otomo, of course, his like pre all the short stories that he did pre Akira are like essential. Like yeah, there's many people doing incredible work in short form. But yeah, thank you very much. I do take the compliment. It's very nice of you to say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're working on a short story. You say.
yeah. Like we have a friend of mine who was illustrating it, and it's very short. It's only 20 pages. And I just remember, for example, at the beginning, very beginning of Luigi Mode, it feels like a lifetime. Before that first issue ends. It feels like a lifetime
Yeah,
has passed, and that's I think one thing you're really good at. I think that's
it's
part of
very
your voice.
compressed. I suppose so. I mean, some stories aren't like that. Like, if you look at Mouth Baby, for example, like that's got a lot of long, extended scenes. But yeah, Luigi Mode, it's got a similar storytelling style to Masterplasty, which is another old story. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they have in both of those books, you'll have like a whole scene that is told within a panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like one scene in one panel, and it allows you to do this very kind of compressed storytelling. But if you look at something like UK in a Bad Way, have you read that one?
Yeah, I've read it. You sent it to me.
Yeah. Oh, cool, good. Yeah, and in this one, like you'll have quite long, this scene here, like it's just a snowflake is forming, and she catches it
Oh
on her
yeah, yeah, I
tongue. And
remember that. It's really good.
yeah, yeah. So I do like to like telling this kind of. It's not all I do, but it's a fun thing to do, and it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and more people should do it.
I just think you have a really good relationship in those two types, like knowing when to
mm,
prolong something or when to zap it. I
yeah,
think you,
pacing. Yeah,
yeah, the pacing is really good. I
no,
have
thank you.
literally only good things to say about that. And it's just you've made all these comics, Masterplasty, Mouth Baby,
Yeah,
Luigi Mode, UK in a Bad Way. I always wondered how does it compare to do those type of comics with your where you're just free to do whatever versus a client
right.
work such as Batgirl 49, because they still hired you because you're you, right?
You say Batgirl for yeah, yeah. Well, that was because like I'm friends with Cameron Stewart and he was like and Babs as well. Tar, I used to talk to her a lot. So like I think they just kind of liked the way I think they liked my storytelling, like my kind of the way I put panels together is something that they really admired. I think so. Like yeah, I do a lot of work for hire, and I just did one last year, which was have you heard of this comic called The Future Is?
I don't think so. Can you
It,
brief me
it's
very little?
yeah, the future is like it's a very Black Mirror-y kind of thing. It's
Hmm.
about I guess it's about like a kind of group of hackers who are sort of they're almost like the X-Men of hackers, and it's very kind of cool. It's like almost like a team. It's like like a Chris Claremont X-Men. It's like a team book.
Hmm.
high tech, know-how, and they hack things. And I guess like one of them is a spy, and one of them is a bit athletic, and then one of them is a like just exists purely in VR, AR rather. But they didn't have me do any of that. They had me do a comic book about the dog. Like there's a dog they have, and I
Mm-hmm.
got to do a whole issue just about the dog. And so my story was about it, like the dog gets sent off with this robot dog walker. So it's like a decommissioned those like Boston Dynamics big dog robots,
Yeah, yeah, I know about those.
Yeah. So it's like a decommissioned Boston Dynamics robot that has had like a hologram fitted onto the top of it to project like a friendly dog face, and
Oh.
and that's like the dog walker, and it turns out like they try to hack it so that the dog can like get out of having to walk around town with this stupid dog walker, and in doing that they accidentally like put military programming back online, and it just goes berserk. And it's like it's very silly, but it's very fun, like it had all these I sort of tried to do it in the style of Frank Miller and Walt Simonson's RoboCop versus Terminator. Like I
Mm-hmm.
sort of paid homage to that a little bit. Oh yeah, and the whole story was they wanted me to do it purely in like a dog's vision, so like a dog could only see like blue and yellow and grey basically, and I think they call it like deutanopia or something like that. So the whole story is just like in those colors.
Is
Um,
it kind of UK in a bad way, where it's like a lot of grayscale, but then with pronounceable colors?
Somewhat, it's a little no, it's closer to it's just closer to how a dog sees. So if you were to take any photograph and then like run a filter on it to make it purely show the kind of cones of vision that is available to a dog, it looks exactly the way a dog would see. So it's not like stylized like UK in a bad way.
Oh, it's scientifically accurate.
It's scientifically accurate. Yeah, yeah. Except the script keeps saying like then the dog's eyes glow red, and I'm like, you can't have red. Like you've already said in the script that red doesn't exist. But so I had to kind of like break the rules a little bit to kind of give them the red that they wanted. But yeah.
Hmm. And that's they kind of like tell you to do your own thing, or do you have to follow very strictly to a script?
um, I it's it's one of those things. I know that when Alan Moore writes scripts, he always kind of does this big long description and then says, "But if you can think of anything better, like go ahead."
Hmm.
And
Okay.
uh, and they didn't quite say that in the scripts, but like I sort of take it as read that like if I have a better idea or if I can kind of fix this a little bit, like if it's then then I have free reign to do that. There's like sometimes you'll get scripts that don't make sense. Like you'll get a comic book script that says like fucking Dougal walks from one end of the room to the other, sits down, lights a cigarette, and turns on the TV, and that's panel one. And it's like, well, that isn't panel one. You've just described five things happening. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like your script kind of doesn't work, and when you get situations like that, like you have to sort of feel free to you have the freedom to adapt basically. You can kind of be like, okay, that doesn't make any sense at all, but like I can turn it into something that does make sense. And so what should be in this? So what you end up doing is like it's like, okay, I'm gonna have him smoking a cigarette in this panel, and then I'm gonna have him watching TV in the next panel, and you just sort of like split the actions across the page. Like you just kind of work them into the scene naturally, without cramming them all into that one panel.
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes you'll get a script where you are kind of required to adapt it in that
Yeah.
way because like it's literally impossible to do what they're describing.
And then
you
it
know?
comes the time to do your own thing. Okay, I guess that's
Precisely, yeah. Yeah,
um
there's always kind of room to express yourself within within a brief. Yeah, go ahead.
And speaking of that, and now I think this is a dreaded question, considering I just found out you had like an entire 1 hour interview about this thing.
Mm.
What what can you tell me, as succinctly as you can, I guess, the journey to
Mm.
making the Who's Lighthouse? Uh,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just read it and I just found out he had like a huge interview, so you don't have to say everything.
Yeah,
But I
me and
remember seeing
Brandon talked
like
about that.
graphs. I remember seeing in your Instagram like a story map where it's
Yeah,
like this very elaborate thing. It's almost mystical. Um,
yeah. I know, like, and I think the guy, the publisher, had worked with Grant Morrison before, and I had to kind of say, like, don't worry, this isn't like some Grant Morrison shit. Like, I'm not trying to summon the ghost of Keith Moon here. Like, like it is like the story wheel I made is very practical. Like, it's based on, like, this is kind of a cliche, but it's based on like Joseph Campbell's monomyth. You know, he was
mm-hmm.
a, you know all about Joseph Campbell?
Yeah, yeah. The hero of
And
Thousand
I've seen the
Faces.
yeah, yeah. And then Dan Harmon codified it for working in television. Basically, I think he first codified it when he was working at Channel 101, which is like his pre-YouTube sort of video website where they were just making like 5 minute short films, and he kind of showed how you could apply Campbell's monomyth to 5 minute short films, but like you can, but his system was so kind of robust and so well worked out that you can apply it to movies, you can apply it to individual scenes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, and I was given this task of like taking essentially 50 years worth of material, like
Yeah,
the
sounds so intimidating.
yeah that Pete Townsend had written, like, because he'd started and abandoned and reworked this story, which was essentially like a kind of almost like a sort of Wizard of Oz style story, but almost like it has elements of The Matrix in 1984, and it has it's a very kind of psychedelic concert movie with a sort of dystopian cyberpunk kind of vibe to it. And he was talking about, like, Pete Townsend was talking about synthesizer technology and how it could be used to induce a higher level of consciousness
So the stuff
and
that
all of
Bobby
this
says
stuff.
in the comic is just he actually thought about that for real.
He did, yeah. He was that was the problem. Like, yeah, Pete Townsend was telling people essentially, like, imagine if the Wachowski brothers were like explaining The Matrix to Joel Silver, and he's like, "Wow, sounds like a great movie," and then they were like, "Yeah, and we're gonna build the Matrix for real," you know? Like, that's what Pete Townsend was
The
doing. Like
one note.
he yeah, like he couldn't see the difference between the sci-fi idea he had and the genuine applications of synthesizer technology. So he was sort of yeah, kind of wavering between genius and insanity, I suppose. And no one quite understood what he was trying to tell them in 1971. And so yeah, I just had to be kind of the guy who takes all of these ideas and was like, what is workable? What can become a story? Um, but now here's the thing: I haven't actually read the Lifehouse graphic novel because I essentially, like, in kind of typical Hollywood fashion, you know, like, you know, in Hollywood they love to fire directors, you know, like
Oh.
so like, you know, like in you know, with Star Wars, you know, like they had Lord and Miller working on the Han Solo movie, and then it's like, you're fired, we're getting Ron Howard to do it, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems to just be like a very kind of typical practice, I suppose, in modern Hollywood, is that license holders will just kind of have one director for a bit and then replace them, and that's what happened to me on this book, you know. So
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
so
yeah. So it says here story by James Harvey and
yeah,
David Hine, script by David Hine, art by James Harvey and
yeah,
Max Prentice, inks by
yeah. So
Mick Gray, and then
Mick
eventually
Ray,
cover by James Harvey too. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit mad. Like, and that cover I drew, I didn't think that was a cover. That was just like, I had a weekend to do a kind of to just do an illustration to announce the project. So I blasted that illustration out, and then I never thought that was going to become the cover. Um, Max and Mick and David are really amazing guys. Like I've hung out with David, and I video chatted with Mick and Max, and they're like, I couldn't respect them more. Like they're really cool dudes. They just didn't have a lot of time to finish off the project. Like, they kind of like I got taken off the project, and then the project got kind of like tied up with like rights issues and stuff like that, and so for about a year and a half, it was just kind of in limbo. And then Max and Nick and David just got like 3 months to finish the entire thing. So it's
Jesus
it's
Christ.
really like yeah. So it's really like not got much to do with my. There's only like about 20 pages or something that I drew and wrote. And
But I
and
feel
then I
they
think
try
we
to
got
follow your style from beginning to end. Like this still feels very James Harvey coded, even though it's
that's
not your art
yeah.
in the end.
Yeah, like Max kind of draws like me, but he mostly draws like Max, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think like a lot of my research and stuff kind of made it into the book. For example, there's a bit later on where Mary has got like this kind of stripy dress on,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like a notion and I was going to turn that into something, but I don't think Max had time to turn it into something. He just had to kind of scrabble and put together whatever he could. So like a lot of my sort of research just sort of flops into the book unedited. But I haven't like properly read the book because it would be like, even though those guys worked really hard on it, but I still kind of have the vision of what that book was supposed to be in my head. So like
Oh,
it would
I
be
see.
kind of too it would be sort of too painful to read what actually got made.
You're becoming Alan Moore.
I'm becoming Alan Moore. Yeah, that's precisely what's happening. Yeah. No, he's like
But
Alan
you
Moore
did
doesn't
designs
watch
for
the
it,
movie.
right? You did some designs.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I designed most of the characters. I designed Brick and Jumbo and Mary and the experience suits
did you design the
and
Silver Child?
Velatania.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Velatania. It was me and Christina Cayantes designed that character. But I haven't quite seen like what they did with her. Like I don't know
Her
what.
suit starts becoming very H.R. Giger-esque. Her the
Yeah,
suit that she wears.
that's Christina. That was what we were like doing the history of Jumbo, right? So we designed because like the Jumbo that you see in the story is like Jumbo 8. Okay, so she's like
Mm-hmm.
the 8th Jumbo to ascend to the Jumbo throne, and I think like the HR Geiger suit is that was Christina's vision for like Jumbo 5 or something.
Oh,
And
reincorporated.
yeah, and they just kind of took that design and made it into Belatania's outfit, and it just kind of just I think it's almost like seeing like a Lego set that you were designing, and then like someone just kind of takes the Lego set and puts it together without looking at the picture on the phone. It's it's kind of that's why it's hard for me to look at because I know what it was supposed to be, and I mean maybe in years to come I'll finally look at it, but right now it's like painful because I have like all these epic scenes in my head that were meant to happen, and I know that they don't happen in it, and I'm like,
I
so
see. Yeah,
it's
just give it a few
yeah,
years, like you said. Yeah.
yeah, I'll give it a few years, yeah. But yeah, that was like I was really throwing everything into that. That was like meant to be like my Akira, like I was really, I
You're
really had the
Akira, even though
highest.
you have Bartkira, this is to be your Akira.
That's true. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do several my Akiras, and maybe one day one of them will actually kind of make it to the end.
I see.
Um,
Well, I don't want this to become the Lighthouse podcast because there's already the Lifehouse. Sorry, because there's already
yeah,
one big interview about that.
yeah,
So
check it out, folks. It's me and Brandon Graham, and I also do the Bone Juice podcast with Brandon. So like, if you watch that and you think those guys are cool and I want to hear them talk lots more, then check out Bone Juice. Okay,
okay,
please continue.
yeah, I'll definitely link the interview that I'm talking about in the description because it's
Yeah,
very very interesting story about the Lifehouse. And now
cool.
we go from this 50-year-long masterpiece to the grand topic of NFTs. Uh,
Oh God, oh my God,
so what can you
that's
tell me about the legendary American Psycho NFT?
fucking hell. What a great question. Yeah. Well, yeah, I have to preface this like as I made a video about this, and yeah, like I have to say up top, I do not like NFTs. I think it's like I always thought they were fucking stupid, and like true to point, like when I was doing Bartkira, and this is in like 2014, around about that time, like someone was asking me about NFTs, like about that technology, and they're explaining the tech.
2014?
Yeah, it might have been 2016. But it was around that time, right? And they were explaining this technology to me like years and years before it took off. And I was just thinking like I don't really want to do this. Like it doesn't sound like they wanted me to kind of take my sort of I had like this massive like address book basically. I knew a lot of artists as a result of Bartkira. I know like what we can do is like create this website where people can purchase digital art. That's like you can't purchase digital art. Like it's ridiculous. Like anyone can screenshot that. Like there's no like the idea of owning this thing that can be infinitely replicated is it's like it's a fairy tale. It's like it's nonsense, and sure enough, like after the reason that NFT bubble popped is because people slowly realized like this isn't anything.
Oh,
They
tech pro
kind
hype
of
cycle.
it's all built on like misleading people as to the viability of this. Like you don't own a JPEG, and like even if you do, your JPEG is no more like it's not any more worth anything than a screenshot someone takes of the exact same JPEG. It's genuinely ridiculous. So I've been turning down the opportunity to work on NFTs for way longer than like most people. Like I was like in on the ground floor with not doing NFTs basically. And but then I found out that like Bret Easton Ellis really wanted to do one. It's like through a friend of a friend, someone said Bret Easton Ellis wants to do one about American Psycho, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is like the one because and it turned out it was Bret Easton Ellis's boyfriend, Todd, who was like doing the whole thing, and uh, and so he was like my kind of liaison, like because I guess Todd was like a friend of a friend, so like yeah, maybe this is worthwhile. So like I designed this thing like it would be like an array of flat screens, right? Tilted at 45 degrees. So it was like almost like a diamond matrix of flat screens.
So elaborate already.
Yeah, and it's like a single painting of Patrick Bateman about to set himself on fire freebasing cocaine, right? And uh, and so the and then I drew like about 25 different versions of his head, 25 different versions of his left elbow, and then like in every single thing, and like in some of the versions he's already set himself on fire. In some of the versions he's made out of gold or something, and there's like pink roses everywhere. Um, and so you would all be kind of buying NFTs to create a sort of patchwork quilt of this artwork, basically. So it's almost like yeah, like collecting. I mean, now I'm like gonna tell you why it's cool, and I'll just be saying the same bullshit people say about NFTs.
No, but you
you
really
know,
did
that
something different with it. I think that's what's curious about it. You really pushed design as maximum as you could to make something
yeah,
interesting.
I tried to make something interesting. I tried to do something interesting within the medium, and I think I achieved that. Like, I think, and to add extra value to it, like each of these JPEGs or whatever the fuck they are, like PNGs or whatever they are, like it would have within the meta text, it would have original um, prose by Bret Easton Ellis, um, and they would all be like one of 200 kind of snippets that Bret had written, and so you could collaborate with other collectors and put these snippets together to create a, a sort of a just like a small prose essay about Bateman and where he was in 2016 or 2020. I think it was 2020 when we did this.
Damn.
Um, yeah, and I wanted to put that in because that can't be screenshotted, you know. Um, so yeah, like it's just an attempt at doing something within the NFT space that wasn't like shit, you know. But it all kind of, but nothing happened. Basically, Todd Todd was like my middleman. Apparently, like Todd had an NFT guy who I should have been working with, but I had to go through Todd as a middleman. And basically, it came out a couple years back that Todd was sort of a drug addict and not mentally stable, and so Todd, I think, is like Todd has disappeared basically. He's not with Bret Easton Ellis anymore. So yeah, it's just another of those projects that I kind of threw everything into, and then it just kind of went up in smoke.
It feels like you were doing just a big gallery piece, and NFTs was just an excuse.
Yeah,
Because
it
it
does.
sounded very, very interesting from what I've seen.
Yeah, I would love to just put that together and just make that gallery piece, but I would have to buy those flat screens and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel maybe it's
So
not worth it that much to buy so many flat screens and that whatever.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I put together the flat screens and then I can sell that for $20 million.
Oh, Jesus. I
I
mean,
don't
it
know.
is unique. It is unique. It does definitely have that type of flair.
I mean, I think for for any piece of art to be worth that much, you basically have to have a gallery owner who sort of looks at your work and says, okay, I can blow hot air up this. Like I can pretend that this is worth this much. Like it's sort of like have you ever heard of a guy called like Mr. Doodle? Do you know this dude?
Ah, that name is not strange to me. Is it the guy who fills like entire houses with like drawings?
Yeah, he's shit. He's this bad sort of bank. No, he's a bad Keith Haring ripoff, right? But he has compulsive, almost like graphomania. Like he has to just keep doodling or he'll die. And like
Hmm.
he's like so kind of obsessed with doodling. He kind of sent himself to the hospital, right? Like he's really interesting dude, and you should. Well, the only thing that's interesting about him is that he's mentally ill.
Hmm.
But one thing that happened is that a Chinese art collector or a Chinese gallery owner basically saw his artwork getting like millions of views on Instagram and was like, I can sell this. So they sort of, so then the kind of art industrial complex kind of springs into life. And so you have like a writer who can write an essay about it, who can, lie about why this is important and vital artwork. Then you have galleries that will put the work on sale. And then you have the, you have a curator who can say, this is worth this much, an appraiser or something. And it's
Mm-hmm.
all kind of, it's all bollocks. Like this value of like saying that this is worth however many millions is it's um it's a completely false kind of figure that's just been conjured out of thin air, but because of like a collusion between like the critical, these kind of essayists and these curators and gallery owners, you can kind of pretend it's worth this much. So
Mm-hmm.
the only way any piece of art can be worth that much is kind of if this collective sort of decides that it is. I think one thing that NFTs did was it sort of allowed people to bypass that, and it kind of allowed Paris Hilton to say like, I'm saying this is worth several $1 million, and the previous art establishment would never co-sign Paris Hilton saying my work is worth millions of dollars, but during the NFT gold rush, people would just say, "Oh, I guess it must be worth millions of dollars because Paris Hilton says it is." Like it
Yeah, yeah.
kind of NFTs kind of provided a back door to that kind of
Carve a path throughout that.
yeah, yeah, precisely. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's very
like
interesting.
so I could put it together as a video installation, but it would never be worth that much money unless like by random happenstance, like some
gallery
fine
owner.
art curator, gallery owner decided it was, which would never happen, I don't think. Um, but yeah, so yeah, that's my NFT adventure. It's just like, oh yeah, and one of the NFT sets we made was like live action. So I actually kind of like built the I built the whole thing. I had like a dummy, Patrick Bateman, and I kind of like I had like a medical skeleton that I put underneath it. I packed face with like meat, and so I basically made like a kind of realistic flesh effigy of Patrick Bateman. Had a
Wow.
suit and everything, and then I set it on fire, and it was like in the exact position that the painting is in. So yeah, that was one of the things we did, and I did it on November the 5th because that's like the one night in Britain where you can just burn an effigy on your front lawn and
Oh,
no one stops you. Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
All right. Um, okay, so that's just an amazing answer. Um, so, one of the most standout aspects of your work is the coloring. And I remember
yeah.
you made a blog post, it's forever ago, I think, about Frank
Mhm.
Miller's new work and how it was being criticized. That the problem wasn't the drawings, but it was the
Yeah,
coloring. Because they use like the modern comic coloring that you find everywhere. Very,
mhm.
I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe you have a better way to describe it than I do.
It's
Where
like
it's
very metallic almost, very
yeah,
shiny,
metallic,
very
shiny.
a lot of gradients, very high gloss.
Yeah, high
Yeah,
gloss. That's definitely it.
very digital. And it doesn't really suit what Frank is doing. What Frank is doing with his new drawings is very graphic and bold, and it suits sort of like flat coloring. And I sort of I saw this and I was like, I think I can sort of move the needle on how people look at Frank Miller's work. And so I remember telling this to people, and people were like, no, his work is just shit. Like it's just shit now. And I was like, I don't think it is. I think if I recolor this, like I think you're going to see it in a different way.
And
And
you did.
and
You
uh,
recolored them, and they completely
and I
looked differently. Yeah.
exactly, and people kind of realize, oh wait, there is something going on here. Like Frank's new work is like compelling in its own right, and it is being colored incorrectly. Like I really changed the way people looked at his work. Now, don't get me wrong. Like his work is still like you know he there's no denying that like Frank has had a kind of cognitive decline of his abilities, and that's because of his alcoholism. And I
Oh.
think some people say like his PTSD after 9/11 or something like that. Like he really has gone through a lot. Basically,
He has a
he was also in
degenerative
like a very
illness, right? He actually does have a
yeah
degenerative illness.
yes yeah well, kidney failure. Like he yeah like Neil what's his name Neil the Batman artist. I'm blanking.
I'm blanking too. Sorry.
Neil Adams.
Yeah.
Neil Adams was like a guy who's known Frank all his life, and he's older than Frank. And he said like, if you don't stop drinking right now, you're going to kill yourself. Like so Frank, like there's no denying like he's not the artist he once was. Um, and if you read something like Ronin now, which is like a very kind of complex and multi-layered like piece of
Oh yeah, I
storytelling,
love Ronin.
yeah, and you read that and you just think, how the fuck did Frank Miller write this? Because he's not capable of that anymore. Like and it's because of alcohol. That's sadly, so
Ah,
there has been a decline in his abilities, and there has been a decline in his health, in his but regardless of that, like his modern work is still like very compelling to look at. But it just has to have the right coloring process. Like if you look at The Dark Knight Returns, right? That's that's a that's a three-hander. Like it's Frank, and then it's Walt Simonson, and it's Lynn Varley, and
mm-hmm.
they work together beautifully as a team because they each know how to bring out the best in each other.
Yeah.
In fact, there's like some panels in The Dark Knight Returns where Frank doesn't draw anything, and then Lynn will kind of turn it into like an explosion. Like she'll paint an explosion in there, like because he has like a perfect partner who can every gap that he leaves, he has someone who's gonna know exactly what he wants and put it in there and work, and and now it's like Frank, he's still working the same way. He's still kind of leaving gaps for his collaborators to fill in the blanks, but it's almost like his collaborators sort of don't know what suits his work best.
Hmm.
It's a strange thing. It's like it's almost like a jazz musician, who kind of grew up with like live bands, and now he's like just working with like European EDM producers. you know,
What the hell?
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
I
kind
see
of
your point.
he kind of doesn't have like the right. But here's the thing. Like I have like made inroads into this. Like I remember showing it to Gerard Way and my Frank Miller recolors, and he sort of got my recolors or Dan DiDio or someone like that, and they were like, this is great, but like Frank has his own people. Like he kind of the people that Frank picks to work with, he works with them because he likes what they do and he likes what they're going to bring to his artwork. So like Frank really likes that kind of high gloss, shiny, metallic, modern kind of. Well, it's not even modern, is it? But it's like almost like '90s image sort of coloring. But like to Frank, that's kind of the future.
Really? He likes it. Hmm.
Yeah, he sort of he just likes how that looks, and that's what he wants. And you can't tell him no. Actually, what you want is wrong. He's the artist. I suppose you can. I suppose you can kind of compare it to what Rick Rubin did for Johnny Cash. Like
Hmm.
Johnny making these sort of overproduced kind of syrupy country albums, like and they were ignored to the point that people didn't even know Johnny Cash was still making albums. And it took Rick Rubin to say we're going to just strip everything away and like what works here is your voice and these songs, and we can get rid of all the other shit. Like some artists kind of need someone else to produce their work and say, this is what makes you yourself. This is what you're good at, and this is what you should concentrate on. But
Hmm.
some people need to be produced in that way. Like Prince only ever produced himself. And if you listen to like a lot of his albums towards the end of his life, like he should have let someone else produce him. He should have let somebody kind of step in and say like, this is what people listen to you for, and you can get rid of all the other shit. Um, so yeah, like that's kind of what's going on. And it's a little bit difficult. Like he sort of has a vision of what he thinks looks good, and
Did you mention
I
you
feel
mentioning that drinking is destroying his life is God damn it. One thing I live in fear of is when Robert Crumb said that at some point in his life he did a drug that completely altered his brain and he can no longer come up with plots. and I'm
mad.
just afraid, like, what if some psychiatrist prescribes me a drug that's just alters my chemistry so much that no longer can come up with stuff as I used to. That's a fear
I
I
can't.
live with
I wonder
constantly.
what drug that was because like yeah, because Crumb took LSD and like all his best work was after taking LSD, right?
Yeah.
Like although like if you look at like that very first Fritz the Cat, it's not the first Fritz the Cat story, but it's like the best Fritz the Cat story where it's like the one where he has sex in a bathtub. Like I guess
Yeah.
that's that kind of the only bit that I remember, but like, it's an amazing story. It's like a big shaggy dog story, and I think that was pre LSD. But
Mm-hmm.
but all his like Modo Day stories that he did in the '80s, that was like way post LSD, and those are really beautifully written and really fun. So yeah, in general, don't fuck around with drugs. Like I think I don't think it's a great idea. Like I don't I
Yeah.
don't I think Crumb did his best work pre-drugs. I think drugs made him an essential artist in the 1960s because it kind of plugged him into the zeitgeist, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And that's why he had the freedom to keep making art is because what he was doing seemed to be a part of like the emerging counterculture, but like it didn't make his work better. I don't think, and like it certainly didn't make Frank's work better. And it's smoking weed for like 40 years has not made Alan Moore like more clear-headed. I just think I mean it's like a kind of old man kind of take, but I don't think we should mess. Yeah, like get all your drug taking out of the way, but like
Yeah.
don't. But like it's not like it's not a thing that everyone should do all the time. Like it's
Yeah, do it one time and then it's done.
in moderation. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
just
yeah.
just get it
It
out of the
doesn't
way.
make it. It doesn't make people into genius artists. Like it really doesn't. Like it
It
doesn't
might do
make
the
people better.
opposite. It might just completely impair you in some way. So
Yeah,
it's not
like
worth the gamble.
I would love
Um,
to know what Brian Wilson would have been like if he'd never taken LSD. He probably would have been a much better artist. Who knows?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to be a little more selective now with the questioning, so I don't take more of your time. So one
Okay.
thing that I'm very curious of is that there are certain story beats or moments in your books that you said you
Uh,
plan on likely expand in the future. Like in Luigi Mode, the old man
yeah.
who's blinking secretly rules the world and has to be interpreted by specialists.
Yeah.
What else do you have in mind like that in the Harvey verse?
Well, like what other stories? What other like little
Yeah,
nuggets of
things are
story could
like
I expand
lingering.
on? Yeah, like Jin's whole life before she got to London, because she lived on the island of Mu, which is in the Sea of Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Masterplasty takes place. So all of that, like I have so much story that takes place on that island, and but it's just
Oh.
not. Yeah, but like it's a tough one. It's like you have to choose projects very carefully because they're going to whatever project you choose, it's going to take up like years of your life, and some stories are more commercial than others, and I don't have like complete freedom to work on whatever I want. I have to work on something that's gonna make a profit, and I don't kind of have the freedom to work on slightly more esoteric and perhaps self-indulgent stories.
I see your
But I
point.
absolutely, yeah. But like, if I had infinite time and infinite money to live on, I would love to like tell more stories with what Jim did on that island,
Hmm.
um, and the things that happened there. And I would also let me see, like dot dot dot. Yeah, like you mentioned, like the story where uh, yeah, Luigi Mode, Marcus Miskin's assistant Joanna, like she goes off to work for one of the most powerful men in the world, and it turns out that he is just not even he's barely cognizant. Like he's just like a very old man on a life support machine, and yeah, they turn his blinking into like an alphabet that they interpret as his instructions for what to do with his vast fortune. But it turns out that like after the 1970s or the 1980s, like you can no longer really interpret his blinking as anything. Like it's just like reading tea leaves or the I Ching or something. It's
It
it's
is one of the greatest displays of like a parasitic old generation just eating up the young, in a way.
yeah, yeah, and I would. And that's just like a couple of pages. Like it's just kind of a throwaway thing because I was just like, okay, I want to. It was like episode 3 of Luigi Mode was kind of running short, and I was like, okay, and like I was like, okay, this character Joanna disappears, so let's give her something to do. And then I just kind of off the top of my head, I was like, oh, maybe it's this. And and then I wrote that, and I was like, this is like too good for just 3 pages. Like there's so much you could do with this. Um, so I have kind of fleshed out, like that is a sort of graphic novel I have planned, but it's like where the fuck would I find the time to do that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I do
like
love it though. I love that page with her on the chair while she's smoking a cigarette.
what's that? Sorry.
I just love
Yeah,
the beginning page, like her on the chair
yeah.
smoking a cigarette right next to him. That's very striking.
It's it's iconic. It's iconic, and I it has to become something bigger. Like so like I planned out like 6 issues of a graphic novel basically. Like
Jesus.
a yeah, but it was like something that I've had knocking around for a while. Like it's a story that takes place in like 1926. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
um and so in 1926, like we meet this guy, and then we like and he's like a very like wealthy kind of almost like a Gatsby-esque figure, and his name is Stephen Young.
Mm-hmm.
And then we and then the story cuts to 2026, and he's now incredibly old, and he's on life support, and he's sort of there's almost like this cult-like worship that has emerged around him, and I just love the idea that the person who's secretly running the world is like basically a vegetable, and his thoughts are barely coherent, and because it's kind of a perfect metaphor for like people love to imagine that there's like a secret society that runs the world, because it's more comforting. That idea is more comforting than the truth, which is that no one is
Chaos.
running the world. Yeah, it's just pure chaos. And so like the idea that she just discovers that like it's just this decrepit old man who is barely coherent.
He
It's
himself
like
is the illusion that there's a secret
yeah,
society running the world. Just there's a
exactly. Yeah,
pretense.
yeah, and that's it. And when she finds this guy, and she like because basically he's on the penthouse floor of the skyscraper, and then like all the people who work for him are on the floors below, and they don't get to visit him. It's like the only there's like an elevator where like the more money you put in the elevator, the higher a floor you get to visit. And so like to visit the boss man on the top floor, $1 million, right? So you have to like put your credit card into the elevator. And so the only reason she gets to go up the elevator is because she works for him, right? And then she sees it, and she's like, now that I know this, now that I know who's truly kind of running the world, like, do I tell people, or do I let them believe that there's someone in control? Like is the myth that someone is in control better than the reality that no one is? So she has to kind of decide whether she shares what she
That's a lot
like
for the 3 pages that you allotted to that.
precisely, yeah. Well, like that's like when I expanded it to a graphic novel, but it'd be a graphic novel that kind of took place like partly in the 1920s and partly in the 2020s. And
That's interesting.
yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah, and we go back and forth, and it's like based around Joanna discovers that like 100 years ago, this girl went missing in this building, and because it's like one of those old New York skyscrapers, and and then like now we know that whenever we go back to the 1920s and we're following this girl, we're like, oh, she's gonna go missing. We just don't know how yet. So it's like a mystery, and yeah, it's a cool story, but like the reason I don't have a problem just like spilling the beans and letting you know all about it right now, and like spoiling it a little bit, is because I literally have no idea if I'll ever get the chance to
Yeah,
to
okay.
make it. It's a tricky one.
It's okay.
But
I'll be here waiting if there is at such a point in
cool.
time.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things in your comics that I thought it was very curious.
Yeah.
Now, before I go to like a faster lightning round, there is
Okay.
still, for example, the drawing you did for Doja Cat. Was it actually meant to
Yeah.
be like a comic? What was
Yeah.
the whole idea with that?
It was Z2 Comics, and so Z2's whole thing is they kind of like they approach rock stars and people who essentially like people who've got a big built-in fan base who will probably buy everything they do, and they say, hey, do you want to make a comic book with us? And if they say yes, then they do it. And so they've made like all kinds of stuff, like and by the way, I think like the only one that I looked at that looked kind of like something I would want to read was the one that they did with Blondie. Like they did a whole graphic
Mm.
novel with Blondie, and but like they've done with one with like Machine Gun Kelly and shit like that. You
Oh,
know, it's
really?
just all kind of yeah, 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 just like all kinds of crap that I would never ever read if you paid me money.
Okay, I see. I see.
but but like they
Hmm.
said because I'd worked with them a little bit because we were going to do I worked on the Foo Action project with Jamie Hewlett and Matt Wakem,
Oh,
and that was originally coming out with Z2, right?
I see.
So like Z2 kind of approached me and because they knew me through that, and they said like, yeah, do you want to do something with Doja Cat? And it's just going to be Tank Girl, but it's Doja Cat. And like, well, I like Doja Cat and I like Tank Girl, so fuck it. Like, if it happens, then I can turn that into something good, So yeah, the whole idea, which is like, instead of being post-apocalyptic Australia, right? What if it's set on Mars? Like it's like after all the tech bros get to Mars and they establish their colony, and it all inevitably goes sideways. Uh, can we set like a post-apocalyptic story on Mars? And
Hmm.
because I think it'd be like a really funny way to kind of we could poke fun at that culture, that kind of bizarre kind of techno utopian slash techno fascism.
Oh, they're begging
Like,
for it. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And yeah, there's so many ridiculous characters in that world. Like Grimes is ridiculous, and
Oh,
Eon is obviously
Grimes.
ridiculous. And,
Grimes is in
yeah,
it. Oh, Jesus.
so like you could just there's so much to do something with. Like this, just it's so rich and so fertile that like there's yeah, these people have so much power and they are so heinous and so risible, so much to make fun of and so much to have fun with. So it'd be great to kind of have Doja Cat as a kind of like mischievous, like tank girl like figure, kind of roaming the wreckage of the world they tried to build.
Yeah,
Um,
that seems fitting for her character.
yeah, yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. But I don't know if Doja Cat even saw it. But it was for Doja Cat. They paid me to do it for Doja Cat, and who knows what happened with that.
Okay, okay. All right. How much does Bartkira still linger in your life?
That's a good question. I, uh, let's see. I mean, not much, but it still comes around. Like I still get interviewed for it. I still meet people who really loved it. Um, and I still find like Bartkira stuff everywhere. Like I went back to my mum's house over Christmas, and there's just this gigantic Bartkira print that someone made and sent to me. And it's like framed, and I've never known what to do with it. So it's yeah, there's like evidence of Bartkira everywhere. But like it doesn't cool. Like it's really cool. Something that people seem to like that much.
I did a few
I found.
pages, and I remember
Oh, did
being
you?
really fun. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes, you did.
I did a
Which
few
ones were
pages.
they?
I forgot. That's so long ago, man.
It is so long ago. I have
It was
somewhere. I
2015
have a
or something.
Bartkira. I have a Bartkira book that like we like legally we weren't allowed to like print like proper full volumes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but if we had, it would take up like a shelf. Take up that much bookshelf space. Like
You have
there's so much art made for it.
Otomo and
But
Nintendo after you.
yeah. Well, Atomo liked it apparently, and Kodansha liked it. Like
Okay, cool.
so Kodansha saw it, and they said, yeah, they basically told us like we like this, but like you can't ever publish the story in sequence. So that's why like the only couple of books that came out, it was like a very small selection, and it was like in a kind of random non-narrative order. Like
Mm-hmm.
we sort of like the nuclear. It's just like a kind of almost like a music video, like a trailer of just all like the most explosive and spectacular scenes. Um, yeah, but I looked on. Someone told me that like the Bartkira Nuclear Edition is going for like $500 or something on some website.
What?
Like it's yeah. Now that doesn't mean people are actually paying that much for it. That's certainly like what people are trying to get for it. I just
Yeah.
found the book. It's right here. This book.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, it's slim.
yeah.
How much does it contain? Nothing
It's
in sequence, right?
nothing in sequence. Yeah, it's just that much. It's a very kind of very slim volume, and it's got like this flyer as well with Franz Lucas's art on the front.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember that one. That one's great.
yeah,
Oh
it's really
hell yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, no, it's funny. Like it doesn't. It's the project is finished, and oh, you know what? Like people are still doing stuff like it. Like there's a guy who's making a thing called like Homer and Cub, and it's like it's Lone Wolf and Cub, but it's The Simpsons.
Oh
And
okay.
yeah, and when I did my Kickstarter recently, like I let people, commission me for sketches and stuff as a backer
Oh.
bonus, and someone asked me to do Homer and Cub. So they've kind of got me to do this kind of post Bartkira kind of project. Like, so it's like Bartkira kind of has a long shadow. I think the trailer for Bartkira kind of went viral on TikTok.
That is true. I
And
think
so
it's also indirectly inspired a lot of other projects like this. Like I think it
yeah,
indirectly inspired stuff like Shrek Retold and things
oh
like
god,
that.
yeah. We have to give proper credit to Ryan Humphrey who created Bartkira, and I was just like the guy who organized the group project,
Okay.
because I was like just the guy who said this could work on Tumblr basically, and it did. Like, and it kind of spread beyond Tumblr. It kind of, but I was on Instagram, right, and like this new generation are just discovering Akira. So like someone like posted the trailer for Akira, and they're like, "This is amazing. I've never heard of this." And then someone in the comments said, "Hey, you think that's amazing? Now check out Bartkira, right?" And then the guy replied, "Listen, that is not going to impress anyone except for autistic people."
Okay. Oh well, that's cool.
And I kind
I
of I
like it. I
replied,
like it. So
"Yeah."
that is
I
correct.
replied, "LOL." Yeah, it's funny. I mean, he's not wrong. Like I have autism,
Yeah,
and
me
I,
too.
I and I imagine most people who contributed to Barker have got autism.
Probably, probably something like that. Yeah.
I should have done a poll, like just figured out statistics on who has autism in the Barker.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. That would have given the world something to
Venn,
chew on.
yeah, the Venn diagram is a circle of
Yeah.
Barker contributed to autistic people.
Yeah. Well, that is cool. Um, you worked for Love, Death, and Robots, have you not? Like you did some character
Yeah,
designs.
I did. Yeah, I did some character designs in the it's like a season 3 episode called Kill Team Kill, and
I watched that. Yeah,
it
it
was
was
like
cool.
yeah, it was like me, Sachin Tang, who's amazing, and I don't remember his name, but this guy who's like an incredible artist. But they had like a bunch of really cool artists doing something, doing designs, and then they just like didn't use any of them. Like it's very typical kind of animation industry way of working is you just like kind of
Yeah.
get lots of artists you like and get them all to do something, and then you just kind of pick and choose. So yeah, they didn't use anything I did, but I still use that as kind of a feather in my cap. Like, hey, I worked on Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, that's
It's still
cool.
kind of part of my. It's good. Yeah, it looks good on the CV.
It does. It's and the designs you made also remind me of the designs you made for Doom Patrol. Like I don't know. I see like
Yeah,
some intersection.
interesting. Like, oh, like a bit like the way I do Cliff. You mean
Yeah, yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that would I would love to have that on my resume. Works for Love, Death, and Robots. That's big. Like people know about it.
Yeah, it looks good. Like, and like if I tell people I worked on it, it kind of gives them, yeah, it's like a good shorthand for the type of work I do, I suppose. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. Hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna try and go faster now. Is there anything you worked on that you think didn't get as much visibility as something else?
Yeah, like most of what I've done, really.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, almost no one saw Luigi Mode. I don't think.
wait, really?
Well, yeah, because I kind of I only ever printed out 500 copies of it, and I'm still I'm still selling, so it's lifetime less than 500 copies have been sold of it. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, but it's going to be in the book that I'm putting out a book in a couple of months with Living the Line, and that's going to collect Luigi Mode, and it's going to collect a whole load of other things. So yeah, so hopefully finally it will get the audience it deserves.
Luigi Mode Omnibus sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's going to have Luigi Mode and UK in a Bad Way and a bunch of other stories like Wandering Soul. Guys, I've got this story called Wandering Soul,
See,
which I
see, I
did
don't know about that one, so that's probably one.
ah
That's probably one that.
yeah, no, I did it during the George Floyd protests, and it's about the long range acoustic devices that the police were using, in
Mm-hmm.
Texas, which is they basically play screams incredibly loud at the protesters, and then they covered up all like they basically said this isn't happening. We don't know why this guy is screaming, but it was them. It was like these long range acoustic weapons that the police were using, and like the only other place they use that is in like Afghanistan, or they used it in Vietnam as well. And in Vietnam, they played they would like torture Viet Cong and record their voices as they were being tortured, and then just like play that over loudspeakers from helicopters, and they called that Operation Wandering Soul. And it's the most like just America is like the most fucked up country on earth. It really is. The idea that they have this vision of themselves as like in any way heroic, is it's so repulsive. But yeah, my story Wandering Soul was all about that, and it's kind of like the perspective of a basically like a racist cop gets murdered, and then we see his like soul kind of going from body to body as he tries to kind of possess people, and then
Oh, that's cool. I like stories about
but then
possession.
but then finally he's kind of like he gets unstuck in time. He's kind of like going backwards through time, and finally he sees I won't spoil it, but it's like I'm extremely proud of that story,
Can
extremely
I find
proud.
it on your site, on your website,
I
Stop at
don't
James Harvey?
no no you can't. It's not published anywhere at the moment, but it was on my website for a bit, just like for a brief window. But that story is going to be in the collection we're putting out through Living the Line. Um,
Okay.
but yeah,
Hell yeah.
like that one absolutely deserves like a lot more eyeballs on it because I'm extremely proud of that.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect answer. Um, okay, so why is your packaging so cool? I remember receiving Luigi Mode, and it was like all this cardboard that had specifics, custom made arts in it.
Oh, cool. I don't know, but would be happy to hear that because she thinks I'm really sloppy with the way I package things. So like, yeah, why is my packaging so cool? I don't know. It's because I bought a label printer. Like I talked to this guy Crom. Have you heard of this artist who does Bird King? He's called Crom.
Bird King.
His real name is Christian Ortiz, and he's this very talented artist, and he does really well on Patreon. So I was kind of asking him about Patreon, and he said like he bought a label printer so that he can do like a sticker club and like prints out these stickers every week.
I see.
So yeah, so I bought a label printer for that reason, and it just ended up being like something I purely use for packaging. But it's very handy, yeah. So that probably that is the reason because I have a very professional label printer.
Yeah, I tried. I think I still have them with me. I changed houses, so I don't know
Mm.
where it is, but I literally have that cardboard because I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, a few people like keep the stickers that I put on the packages and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so how much of your work is traditional? How much is it digital? Like, give me a ratio.
Uh, A ratio, like I don't know really. It's
80/20.
yeah, I don't know. It's back in the day I worked traditional a lot more. But right now because I don't have as much time, more uh digital. But the recent like sketches I did for Kickstarter backers, I drew them digitally and then I printed them off and I'm kind of gonna ink them traditionally. So sometimes I
Oh,
do that. Yeah, sometimes it's digital pencils and traditional inking
trade digital.
because it looks tradigital. Yeah, tradigital. Yeah, sometimes I do that and I'm like, shit, I should have inked it traditionally. I should have inked it digitally. Because like sometimes like I'll draw something too small uh, digitally, and then when I print it out, it's like you can barely see it, and it's like, how am I gonna ink that? But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes my yeah, I'm like a I really like traditional inking, but I think my digital inking is a bit better now. It's sort of I have more control digitally, but it doesn't quite have the same life. It's sort of there's just something about like working traditionally that kind of just everything looks a bit better.
Yeah, I
But
remember
I
seeing your
but
old
because
drawings on like a lightbox, I think, and it looks very
yeah
crisp. Do you use like
yeah
do you use like sorry a brush or like a nib?
yeah no I do I use a Pentel brush pen. That's exactly what I use. Yeah.
Oh, okay, the
I,
Pentel, the
yeah,
legendary Pentel brush pen.
yeah. I used to use. I tried using a nib, and I didn't quite figure it out. I sort of wish I had, but like I just never quite mastered it. Um, but there is one book I did which is purely nib, which is a really obscure one called "So You're Going to Die," which is something written by a guy called Kirk Israel,
Wow.
and it's like an illustrated book of his kind of homespun philosophy. And he's just kind of like an office worker who plays the tuba as a hobby, I think. And and he wrote this kind of philosophy book about death, and and it's like really kind of cute, I suppose, and naive, and I don't mean naive in a bad way. I mean it's like kind of. In fact, I have it. I just noticed I have it on my shelf. It's this thing. It's called "So
Oh,
You're Going." Yeah, "So You're Going to Die" by Kirk Israel, and
and you did
some really
inking for
nice
it.
things. I drew the whole thing, but some nice pages. I guess you can't really see this, but I guess
Yeah,
I'll send you to the artwork. But it's purely nib. Like it's the only project I ever did that's like purely nib pen. Um,
interesting.
but yeah, mostly I'd use the Pentel brush pen.
Damn, I need to get back in the Pentel brush pen grind work. Um,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, that's definitely cool to know. Brush, brush represent. uh, Growing up, did you have like a favorite comic? Something you tried to emulate? I think you already answered this with like Katsuhiro Otomo.
yeah, Akira. But also I don't know, like before that, like in Britain, everyone has the same progression, which is like you discover the Beano and the Dandy first, and then you kind of age into like Judge Dredd, and
Oh
then
yeah.
after that you discover Watchmen, and then maybe you discover like Fantagraphics and kind of like cool stuff like that, and yeah, so I guess kind of like
Oh
I had the
yeah.
sort of progression that everyone else has really. Um,
Interesting. I'm still
yeah.
trying to get my master to publish Eternus 9 on Fantagraphics. Talk to Gary Groff.
Oh
Hopefully,
wow.
hopefully it will get done sometime.
Mm.
Okay, so that's. Do you have a favorite comic that you say like that? This is the one. This is my favorite.
Gosh, yeah, maybe. Probably. It's tough. Like it's really hard because everything's good in a different way, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
oh, my son is here. Come in. Look at this dude.
Whoa, he's older than I
He
thought.
like it. Yeah. Well, he's like he's two and a bit now. Like he turned two in all. This is Donovan. Um, but yeah, he kind of loves to come up and see what I'm doing.
Well,
Yeah, favorite comic.
one of my questions was how hard is it being an artist while being a dad? But I think you already answered that at the beginning.
Yeah, it's next to impossible. um, but favorite comic? I don't know. What's your favorite comic?
Ah, the ping pong back at me. God damn it! I'll simply say, yeah, I'll say Eternus 9. And if
Oh,
not that,
hello.
if not that, then Blame. And that's it.
Oh, that's a good choice. Oh, hello. Hang on.
Okay,
Maybe. Hang on. I'm gonna show you. This is underrated. Is everything that Posey Simmons has done, but like especially her work in the '80s, like Mrs. Weber's Diary and stuff like that. Like that's
okay,
and anything by Raymond Briggs, quite frankly. Like, oh, you okay, Donnie? Oh, you want
okay. I
mummy?
had a few
Okay.
more. I see you're getting busy. I had a few more questions, but maybe there's
Well,
one great question at the end.
yeah, Donnie really wants to hang out, but he cannot. I'll see you in a little bit, Donnie.
Yeah, we're done in
Okay.
5 minutes. Don't worry about it. So I had a
You
few
know what?
more questions here. Favorite movie, book, whatever. But
Can I tell
really,
you your favorite comic book? Uh, um, When the Wind Blows by Raymond Briggs is a masterpiece.
oh,
So if you haven't ever seen that, you should check that out. Like
I've seen
it's
the
one of the
movie.
yeah, with like music by David Bowie and Roger Waters.
Yeah,
The book
exactly.
is better.
The
The
book
book
is
is much
better.
better. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I need to get that. I need to get that then.
Yeah.
Okay, so the realist question.
Okay.
Of the two final questions, the realist question: why make paper comics in an 8K hyperlit neon hologram VR generative AI world?
Is that feels like something that I said once?
It is, except I made it
Yeah.
stronger.
Oh, thanks. uh, yeah. Why do it? I don't know. Because it gives you creative freedom. That's mostly why. It's because of the freedom you have. And I think like some where will tell you like he is someone who's things that comics can do that other mediums can't. I don't think I've done that. I think a lot of my stories could be told just as well in as like films and stuff. Like UK in a bad way could be like a movie, you know. Uh, it definitely doesn't have to be a comic book. Um, but for me, just like I have far more freedom to tell the stories I want to tell, and then just move straight on to the next thing. So that's why for me I do it.
Okay, I think UK in a Bad Way fits very well as a comic, but I see your point.
It's pretty good as a comic, but I would love to see that as a live action film. And like, it's kind of like the first 20 minutes of a live action film, really. Like I sort of want to know what happens next. You know, like I would love for like a director to kind of figure out like how that story continues, where else he could go with it. Um, but yeah, because there's like so many mysteries that kind of, by definition of that story, like by design even, like the story kind of ends with a lot of mysteries not wrapped up, and but it doesn't have to. I think that story could be expanded. Um, yeah, and I think a film would be a good way to do it. But
Okay,
you know,
yeah, I see your point.
yeah. But
Okay,
what?
now the final question for every single one of these.
Okay,
If Mr. Beast gave you $1 million, what would you do with it?
let's see, $1 million doesn't get you that much these days, is it? But like, if you gave me $1 million, like, okay, well, the first thing you need to do is buy a house. It wouldn't be a big house because $1 million doesn't get you a big house, but it's at the very least I would own a house that the Penny and the boys could stay in with me, and I guess I would like then I would finance the next project I'm doing, like which is just a graphic novel. Like I could be able to afford a inker and a colorist, so that I'm not just trapped for years on the same project.
That's smart.
and the rest of it, I wouldn't like. I would just work on the next project. I would just basically do a version of what I'm doing now. But I'd be owning my house instead of renting. I'd be I'd hire two extra people,
Yeah, that
and
sounds cool.
that's it. That's all I do. And the rest of it is like that. That is kind of like a provides financial stability until we do the next thing. You know,
You have to be on Mr.
I
Beast's
wouldn't.
show, though.
I would genuinely like. Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be like cool for like the rapid editing of a Mr. Beast show. Like it wouldn't like really. Yeah, it wouldn't really play into his format. You know, like I'm gonna live my life exactly as I'm living it now, but like with less uncertainty. You know?
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think that's what we
Yeah,
all want. Less
yeah,
uncertainty.
yeah.
Well,
That's it. Really.
it was
Yeah.
really nice having you, James. Really big
Well,
fan.
it's nice. Thank you, man. It's really nice being here.
Yeah,
Thanks very much.
it's an incredible interview. Thank you for letting me ask all the questions. All right,
Of course, of
see
course.
you guys. See you in the next
Bye,
episode.
guys. See ya.
Goodbye.